trucking in Michigan. I thought I would not make it into US today. I spent the night in London at the Flying J in London, Ontario, so 1 hour from the border, and there was I did a detour, and because there's construction of 402, very narrow spots, and I'm 11 too wide, so I went on detour and got to the border, parked at exit 9. There's a petrol pass over there on 402, and was sitting there from probably 8 o'clock until 2:45 p.m. and it got really stressful because 3 p.m. was the curfew, like the start of curfew for oversized loads in Ontario, because Monday is the big holiday, Thanksgiving over here. Like on the US side, there's no holiday restrictions, but on the Canadian side, no driving after 3, no Saturday, no Sunday, no Monday. And so I kept bugging the broker. I said, does your customer know that if I don't get out of Ontario, I'll be stuck here until Tuesday morning? And I said, I have to charge you money for this, because it's not my fault. I got loaded and you still don't have paperwork ready, you know? And then I started calling the customs broker myself, and the guy finally picks up the phone at 10 o'clock my time. And it turns out he's in Montana, which is 2 hours behind. So it's 8 hours in Montana. This guy finally answers the phone. And I said, hey, this is Sergei in Canada. I'm moving this excavator, and the customer told me that you're the broker. And he says, well, this is first time I hear about this. And he says, the last time I talked to this guy was in 2015. I'm not even sure he's set up as an exporter or importer. So anyway, so it took like 5 hours of nerve-wracking sitting, you know, emails, phone calls, back and forth, and finally at 2:42 p.m. my Mac beeps. It says new email. I click on the email, and it's an automatic email from my border clearing website. It says entry from customs broker on file. So basically, I did my part yesterday, but it's not complete without the input from the customs broker, right? And so until then, the message from customs was entry. Look at this road. Entry not on file from customs broker. Okay, and now it changed to entry on file from customs broker, entry number, bingo. That means that I'm good to go. So I went on the bridge, and I got lucky they didn't charge me the fee, because when you're like heavy, I keep forgetting, is it like 140,000 gross or whatever, but I was like 132, and she still charged me only 36 bucks Canadian to cross. Like on the Canadian side, right? I paid. Like, who am I to argue, right? You say $36, so not $200. Okay, that's cool. And then there was a big lineup on the bridge. We were stopped for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time, and at one point I stopped right under this sign. And then I crawled in the left lane, and my right side sticks out, like very dangerous, you know, on the bridge. And the middle lane is reserved for fast trucks and fast cars. And so I stepped in the left lane all the way to the bottom, and then finally I broke away from the herd and I went into my own lane for wide loads, gate number 5 or lane number 5. And the guy was very nice, cleared me in like 2 minutes, and now I'm here. So hurdle number 1 is overcome, getting out of Ontario. So that's it. Like in US, it's only Columbus Day, no restrictions. I checked on some website where they list restrictions for oversized loads. Nothing. Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, nothing. Now I have all my permits all the way to Idaho. The only one I'm missing is Wyoming, because that one you have to order yourself. You know, when you're near the border with Wyoming, you gotta call them and they give you a reference number, and then when you show up at the port of entry, you go and pay. If you don't call before you show up, you will get a ticket. So it's pretty much the same piece of paper, except the first one is just your oversized permit, which is nice. But this one, it's a ticket that can have some bad words on it, like $300 fine or $500 fine, you know. So I'd rather have the first piece of paper. But while the hurdle number 1, Ontario, is done with, Michigan is hurdle number 2, because clearly Michigan is so overpopulated that they don't allow movement of loads over 10 feet wide on Saturday and Sunday. Too many people. You know, there's like offices, residential buildings everywhere on each side of the road, small kids walking by. So they don't want any casualties inflicted by my 11-foot wide excavator. So I gotta park it, cool it down, and keep my shirt on until Monday morning. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's 3:30 p.m. now, 3:35. I checked the sunset time at the last town, or actually the first town in Indiana, which is called Michigan City, Indiana. And the sunset is at 6:30. So I have 3 hours to get to Indiana. The problem is, before the sunset, right? The problem is that from here, it's almost 500 kilometers or 300 miles. So there's no way I can be there before, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock. And of course, I cannot drive after dark, because I'm scared of aliens. Like, not that it's prohibited, but Michigan is famous for alien life forms after dark. And plus, it's overpopulated, you know, so like I said, kids walking all over the place, you see buildings, offices. So you gotta park it. But at least it could have been worse. If I was stuck in Ontario, I can only start driving Tuesday morning, right? Like this way, I can start driving Monday morning, you know, which is much better. Like, I wonder where these guys are going. If they're going to Ontario, but probably not. But I hope they know that there's no oversized loads allowed in Ontario now. It's already after 3. And so, yeah, so it's always a little bit of stress, you know, with these oversized loads. And my permits are issued, but they all have expiry date. And I think my Idaho permit expires on either 10th or 11th of October. and today's 5th, right? But because I cannot drive on 6th and 7th, I can only start driving on the 8th. So that gives me like 3 days to get to Idaho, and I don't think I can do that, you know. So because of these guys, because they kept me at the border for 6 hours, the customer, now I might need to order some of the permits again. You know, those permits that will expire because of this 2 days I'm losing, right? And I warned them. I told them about this, like in each email I was saying, warning number 1, must be out of Ontario before 3 p.m. Friday. Warning number 2, must be out of Michigan before sunset on Friday. Okay. Shippers, you know, what do you do? Cannot live with them, cannot live without them. You need them because I need to make money. I'm making money moving loads. And who has loads? Shippers. But if we could build some kind of, you know, ideal society where there's like loads are sitting by themselves with no shippers, that would be the perfect world. And it would be double perfect if there were just loads sitting with a bag of money on top and there's no brokers. You know, no freight brokers, no shippers. I'd like that. Just loads, and somebody put a bag of money on the top. You go there, first come, first served basis. Can you do it? Yes. You load it, go. And what inspired this video, why I thought I should do an update, because I loaded Thursday, right? I thought you guys would like to know about my progress, but also one of the previous videos I was ranting about these loads I've been considering, and you might remember I was talking about the 128,000 pound load from US going to Ontario. They have this big Volvo 700 excavator, right? And I called the guy and I said, why don't you remove the boom and the bucket and the counterweights? Then it becomes about 95,000, and then I can do it. I'll go empty down there, pick it up. And they said no, they want to ship it as a whole. And so it was sitting on the load board probably for 2 weeks as I was searching for this load, right? And I finally booked this excavator. They were searching, they were offering, and nobody was biting because it's just too big, too tall, you know, too many permits. And so now my phone rings when I cross the border, and I look at the number. It says Oregon. And one thing about Oregon is that for some reason they have lots of freight brokers. My guess is they have these mountains and there's tunnels, and lots of these freight brokers, they like living in the dark, so they just dig these tunnels on the mountains so nobody can find them. You know, if they move a load and then they refuse to pay, they like Oregon because there's like an endless supply of tunnels. They just have like a mailbox at the entrance, but you cannot find them. You go inside that mountain, there's like 200 miles of tunnels. But anyway, so this guy says, Sergey, we talked a couple of weeks ago about this excavator from South Carolina. I said, hey, I remember. 128,000 pounds. He says, yes. I said, what's new and exciting? He said, well, they decided to remove the boom. No, wait, sorry, my bad. He says they decided to remove the tracks. They removed the tracks, so now it's 100,000 pounds. I said, just the tracks, or did they remove like the counterweights and the boom? He says, no, just the tracks. But I think he has no clue what he's talking about, because after this he says there's about 4 overflow trucks. Overflow. And overflow means they take parts off the excavator. So I seriously doubt that they only took off tracks. You know, because actually tracks are pretty heavy on that thing. Tracks will probably be like, I don't know, 25,000 pounds probably each. But anyway, he says 100,000 pounds. I said, okay, I can do 100,000, but the problem is I booked a load while you were, you know, sitting there looking in the sky trying to find somebody to move 128,000. I found a load 80,000 pounds going to Idaho. So I said, I'll be back in 2 weeks. How urgent is this thing? And he says, well, they want to move this week or next week. So basically we have 1 week time frame. I said, well, I'm sorry, but that's what happens when you know, don't want to break the load down as truckers ask you to. So now I'm busy, you know. I said, you know, if you cannot find anybody, let me know. I'll be back. I can go down there if it pays enough. I'll go down empty. I don't care. From Idaho, you know, I don't care. If it pays, you know, bunch of money, I'll go. So I said, if you cannot find anybody, let me know. By that time, you know, I said, but I should be empty probably around the middle of this month. So that's what's happening. So I feel a bit excited that at least I managed to get out of Canada. And the broker actually emailed me, the customs broker emailed me. He says, Sergey, you got lucky this time. He says, next time when you load, he says, do not leave the shipper unless you know that the paperwork was prepared. So basically he was saying that even though we signed this deal like with the freight broker, I think I signed everything on Monday, right? And he told me, he asked me to wait till Thursday to load so that the auction receives the money sent by the buyer and that the paperwork is done. And so that's why I was sitting on my butt for 3 days, and I said, okay, you know, the load is paying good, I'm not gonna charge you for this waiting time. And they're still not ready, right? I still lost a bunch of time, but now I cannot, you know, I'm not gonna charge them for this because I'm moving. But at least I'm stuck in Michigan, you know, till Monday, not in Ontario till Tuesday. So, oh, and the other news, the buyer of the trailer calls me, like potential buyer, right? Calls me end of Thursday when I was already in London, where I shut down for the night. And he says they were also loading. It's like a son and a father. And he says they were delayed, they had some complications, and so they could not meet me because we wanted to meet at the auction. I said I'll be there for a few hours, right? And I left the auction at like noon, you know. But these guys got free only around like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you know. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm heading west, heading to Idaho, right? And so they said they're still interested, but they don't want to sign anything, you know, just based on photos. And I said, wait a second, what about a video? I said, I'm gonna do a video about this load that I just picked up. Like, here's the link, check out the video, I'll show the trailer over there. And they said, that's a good idea, but we agreed that when I come back in 2 weeks, we're gonna schedule a time so they can come over and see it, you know. But usually I know this means that the deal will not happen, you know, because usually people that want to buy something, I doubt that these guys will wait, you know, 2 weeks to see a trailer, so you know, they have not seen, they only saw pictures. But yeah, the guy wants to buy everything. The guy wants to buy the trailer, the flip neck, the flip axle, and of course I don't want to do it, but if that's the only condition, he will take the entire trailer, I'll do it. And I have the broker, basically the Fontaine guy, standing by. He can get me a trailer within like 2-3 days. So we are good in that regard. So that's what's happening basically. The trailer, the load. Did I do any repairs? Well, they fixed the tire, right? They fixed the valve on the tire. Everything is good. The excavator is sitting good. Just 11 feet 2 inches wide. I'm legal height, probably 13.4, 13.5. I double checked quite a few times. Everything is good. So we're good. Except, like I said, I wish Michigan would not have this policy of shutting down all oversized loads on weekends. So if Michigan did not have this policy, and then we don't have shippers and we don't have freight brokers and we just have loads with bags of money on the top, geez, that would be a world to behold. Oh, this is my first detour in Michigan, near Flint. So I took exit 138. This is Michigan 54 south. So I have to go south on 54 till it meets I-75. So I think that's like 15 miles probably. It started raining, and the road narrows from 3 lanes to 2. I really don't like it. Driving in the curb lane, you know, when you oversize and inside a town. Because quite often they have all these signs and posts very close to the pavement. And we are in gear 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing good. 20 more lights to go. Now look at this guy. So what do you think? Shall I take off his radiator? Or shall I maybe next? Shall I maybe wait? Gangsta. Some kind of a gangsta probably. It's okay. Gangsters can go. But the guy didn't even have a clue why I stopped. He thought I was letting him he thought I was letting him go. But I didn't want to, you know, I feel nervous coming so close near cars, but lots of times that's what you see, you know, people are coming out of shopping malls and driveways, and they kind of like tip their nose, the nose of their car, you know, right on the road. shoot, I missed the mailbox. What's wrong with me today? Another one. Yeah, my aim needs some practicing. Hello. But I put my lights on. I have my rooftop light, and we have a cyclist in our midst. Where did you come from? It's October, come on. And you're riding a bike? What I'm trying to say, it should be a skateboard, buddy. Yeah, go on the sidewalk. I'm gonna stay here. See like how close the mailboxes are? Yeah, it's gonna be a long run to I-75. I gotta shut down the video before I run out of film. No, wait, it's digital, but you know what I mean. Difficult turn. So this is there in Michigan. Wow, check out the fuel, 354. That's not good. And that's it. Time now is 5:30, so I have 1 hour till sunset. But I don't want to. I'm not gonna make it out of Michigan anyway, so might as well stop here. It's at least 3 hours to Indiana from here. Park next to that nicely colored peat. That's my lift axle went up. transfer. That's it. Shut down in Michigan. That's what I emailed to the broker. Status update, truck 305. Shut down in Michigan. Not enough time to get to IN, Indiana, before sunset time. We'll start trucking again Monday morning. All permits have been issued. Enjoy your weekend. Signature, SERGEI DRATCHEV heavy haul. So now I can relax, like a typical trucking scenario, you know. You either rush or you sit for hours on end, on days on end, and wait for something to happen. So now I can finally go and have a decent meal at the restaurant over here. And I hope the weather improves, so maybe I can go and do some photography or something. But yeah, like I said, when I was driving, at least I got out of Ontario, right? So at least I will have Monday. If I stayed in Ontario, Monday is a Thanksgiving over there, so it's out of the question. No oversized load. So basically I lost 2 days, but I gained 1 day. So it's not the best solution. Ideally I wanted to get out of Michigan, so this way I probably could have done at least 800 miles by Monday, you know. So 400 miles, let's say, going slow, stopping, you know, curfew, stuff like that. 400 miles Saturday, 400 miles Sunday, right? So now I'll be 800 miles behind. Well, what do you do? That's why, you know, we charge them the big bucks for this oversized loads, because there's always complications, you know. Curfews, cops, permits, low bridges, mailboxes on the side of the road, you know. Again, I promised to improve on that. Like, I tried, I was not able to hit a single mailbox. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I should check my right mirror. You know, like, whole day, not a single box. Like that. That's not a good result at all. Anyway, have a good weekend, boys and girls. Happy Thanksgiving if you're Canadian. Happy Columbus Day if you're American. Captain SERGEI out.